My name is Drew Wilson. Several years ago, I had the idea to mix my love of fishing with my career as a tattoo artist. Since then, I've traveled all over the country fishing and making fishing-inspired tattoos for a truly unique clientele. Now, I've decided to take it a step further. You're watching Fishing for Tattoos. All right, we are back for another episode of Fishing for Tattoos. I am here on the world-famous White River with my buddy, Jeremy Gilmer. Jeremy is a fishing guide on this river. He has lived here for 4 years now. We met in Steamboat Springs, Colorado several years ago on a YouTube video, actually. It's funny because that video then that we were just filming, it's called, I think, Western Fishing Tattoo Tour or something. I met you, and the day before, I met my buddy, Jake Smith. And it was my first time meeting him also, and we fished Strawberry Reservoir in Utah. And Jake was the first person I ever had on Fishing for Tattoos, and he's one of my best friends now, and I've been buddies with Jeremy for a while now. And since he's moved to Arkansas, we've got to spend a lot of time together. Right, yeah. Which, it's crazy how that worked out. So this video, this episode's a little bit different. There is not a challenge. There's no, you gotta catch this fish or roll this dice or anything like that. Back in the fall, I believe, I was fishing with Jeremy, and he had just got back from a fishing trip in Mexico where he had hooked his first marlin, and he lost it, and he was hungry for one. And I told him that if he went back to Mexico and got a marlin, that he should get a marlin tattoo on him. And I told him if he could film it and bring me footage of it, that I would just do it for him for free for the show. And he came back with a marlin on camera. So there's no bet to this. There's no challenge of me saying you got to do this, because catching a marlin on a fly rod is one of the fucking greatest accomplishments you can have in fly fishing. And Jeremy did it. So rather than have some weird buildup of is he gonna get this fish or what's he gonna get tattooed, I'm just gonna show you Jeremy catching a marlin and then Jeremy getting a marlin tattoo. Do you have anything about catching a marlin that you would just want to say, as far as like, if you could just describe it?
I can tell you, as far as my experience in the fly fishing world, it's the pinnacle, right? Like being able to tie my own fly thousands of miles away from a creature that may or may not be there, and then be able to connect with it, land it, have that experience on film, have it with some good friends.
Absolutely.
It was really just one of those pinnacle moments in my fly fishing.
Well, fly fishing is, you know, because you're casting and stripping it in by hand also. It's not quite hand lining. I would say it's the one step up from hand lining.
That's right, yeah.
And Old Man in the Sea is catching a marlin on a hand line. So, of course, you weren't in a tiny rowboat by yourself and it didn't get eaten by sharks.
Huge difference.
But that's one of the closest things you can do to the most, like, I hate the word epic, but that is the most epic fishing story of all time, is Old Man in the Sea. And so to be able to accomplish something that's even just part of that is incredible. How did your body hold up to fighting a fish of that size?
You know, you always have the idea this is going to be a good idea until you're in the middle of it and it becomes a bad idea in the back of your brain, because an hour into it, you're exhausted. You know the fish is exhausted and you're ready for this whole experience to be over, but you don't want it to be over. So all in all, is epic.
Yeah, man, I hate the word epic, but there's nothing that can describe it
That's
better.
right.
You know, you always see people, particularly on YouTube, who are like, epic day of fishing, and you watch the video and they catch like a half a pound bass, and it's like, you're a bunch of jerk-offs. But to catch a marlin on a fly rod is epic. So without like a bunch of further ado, I'm just gonna get into showing you Jeremy catching this fish. My favorite part of this video, I didn't take this video, I wasn't in Mexico for it, is that he has a photographer or videographer down there, and while he's hooking the fish, the videographer's like kind of making fun of you. He's like,
that's right.
Oh, the fish took one look at your face and didn't like what he saw or something, and then he sticks him like while he's saying that. But yeah, we'll get into it. Yeah, we'll get into it.
Cheers.
All right.
Oh no, it's in your face and no lie. You need to change the, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Nice.
Watch my leg. Hey.
Tu línea, ayúdale con la línea. Fíjate, se le enreda, va a brincar. Hook. Jeremy, yeah, and get up. Yeah, yeah, you know me.
Yeah!
Come up the bow. Come up the... Easy.
Wow.
Yeah, hey, you have a big problem here. Come on. You fighting, please. Whee!
Yeah. Yeah, bueno, amigo.
La línea. It's okay. Come on.
Ah, muy bueno.
Suelo.
Well, Jeremy followed through on his end of the deal, so it was time for me to pay the man. As an avid fisherman myself, while I haven't caught a billfish yet, I do know what it's like to travel a great distance in hopes of catching a certain fish. I also know what follows catching that fish. As the excitement wears off, you begin to process the experience. You feel a great sense of relief knowing that it wasn't a failed trip, that your time and energy weren't wasted. And then, without wanting to, you start thinking about what's next. Where do you go from here? Araprima? Giant black marlin? Regardless, whatever fish Jeremy ends up chasing next, no matter how difficult to catch, he'll always have this permanent reminder of the time it all went right. I'm happy I could assist with that, and I'm really proud of my friend. Congratulations, Jeremy. That was a hell of a fish. All right, thanks for watching. I don't really know what else to say. Thanks for participating. I hope that you're not too mad at me for putting such a big tattoo. Jeremy wanted a little tattoo. I was like, how you gonna get a fucking little tattoo for a big smart?
What can you do?
Yeah. If you're interested in going on a trip like that, Jeremy actually hosts trips to Mexico. So I will put his Instagram down in the little description of this video. You can hit him up. It's a pretty affordable trip for like a once in a lifetime situation. I've done some hosted trips internationally where the plane ticket was astronomical and then the fishing was like okay, and he's got a pretty sweet setup to where you have shots. If you actually want to talk about some of the fish that you have mahi.
Yeah, so we're down there mainly targeting rooster fish. That's always the goal. But there's also really cool bycatches like mahi, everyone knows dorado, African pompano, Spanish mackerel. There's also marlin in the bays in the summer months. Really just endless opportunities of catching really cool, unique fish on the fly rod and a whole different type of fly fishing experience.
I got to see some photos from his last trip where every single person on the trip got a good fish. Everyone caught a rooster last trip.
That's always the goal.
And then everybody, a lot of bycatches in the mix. So yeah, if you're interested in a Mexico trip, holler at your boy. I'll put his information down below. Thanks for watching. Take care.